let's get this news story up. The most important news story of the year. Nothing else matters, honestly. Coming from Screen Rant, the internet's best gaming news site, written by Yulia Geichmann. I probably butchered that, and I apologize. But you know what? I'm sorry.
Close enough.
Close enough. Death Stranding 2 on the beach fans are outraged that one key item is missing from the collector's edition. Now let's just ignore that headline for a minute, because you may or may not agree with that headline. But here's the deal. A new trailer details everything included in the Death Stranding 2 on the beach collector's edition. But fans are upset that the expensive edition doesn't come with a physical game disc. The upcoming game from legendary game producer Hideo Kojima Productions received a release date and star-studded trailer earlier this month. Last week. The game will continue the journeys of a lone courier played as Norman Reedus through a post-apocalyptic. Well, I can't talk. My tongue's broken. Post-apocalyptic landscape. The sequel to Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding will launch on the PS5 on June 26th, with pre-orders beginning on March 17th. That's today if you're watching this live, and Monday, a couple days ago if you're watching this later on Wednesday. Several editions will be available for purchase, from the standard edition at $69.99 to a collector's edition price at a whopping $229.99. A new trailer from PlayStation has been released, showcasing everything included in the collector's edition. Many fans are upset that the expensive option will only have a key for digital download of the game instead of a physical copy. So that is the gist of this news article here. We'll continue here in a minute. But first off, I need to talk about this trailer that was released at South by Southwest, like 10 and a half minutes long of insanity. And I am all for it. Like, I was just loving every second of it. I have watched that trailer probably like 3 times. And there was a new music video put out for because Woodkid is apparently doing a bunch of the soundtrack. So kind of like with the first game, he had tapped Low Roar with a lot of his songs. This one, they're tapping Woodkid to do some music for it, which honestly, Woodkid's one of those artists that I've heard some of their songs, but I've never like purposely listened to them, if that makes sense. Like if they're on the radio, I'm like, he has a very recognizable sound and voice. Like his voice is very recognizable, and like just the sound of his music generally sounds the same. Like you can tell it's a Woodkid song before he even starts singing sometimes, because it's just like, okay, there's a certain sound vibe to it, even though I haven't even listened to him that much. So there's like a new music video they put out because he wrote an original song just for the trailer. And it's so good. I've watched that probably like a half dozen times too. I was stoked out of my mind. Super excited for Death Stranding 2. The fact that it's coming out this year blew my mind, because I feel like, and maybe I need to go back. Maybe it's just like, maybe it's a little bit of revisionist history. Maybe I like in my head, maybe I'm misremembering things. I feel like the first Death Stranding had more trailers leading up to it before we got a release date. Like, because I remember there being like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 different trailers at least of like random moments throughout the game with no context at all. And because that's what, like, it wasn't even like a trailer. It was more just like, hey, here's like 5 minutes of the game kind of. Yeah. And that would be it, you know? And leading up like years up to it, like I feel like we got like one, then like a year later we got another one, then like a year later we got another one, then finally we got like a release date trailer kind of thing. Again, that's what I remember. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I just feel like there was a lot more lead up. Like this one, we've only had one other trailer, I think, and that was it.
I feel like that's
like
accurate, yeah.
So you got one other trailer, like announcing it basically, and then this announcing the date, and I'm like, what the, like, okay, cool. So I was like, I knew there's a trailer coming out at South by Southwest. I was just anticipating, okay, we're not going to get any date. It's probably coming out next year or something. And then when it's like, what? That's in like 2 months. Are you kidding me? Like, that's incredible. Like, I was like, It blew my mind. So absolutely stoked for that. I obviously pre-ordered the collector's edition. I missed out on pre-ordering the first collector's edition, but fortunately my man Adrian hooked me up. Got for those audio listeners, holding my baby Lou, my little BB. And I even have the little keychain on there, little Ludens. I had, I don't know, somehow I totally missed out that there was a collector's edition. Like somehow I missed it off my radar. And then Adrian, once he joined the podcast, the show, he's like, he knew how much I adored this game. He's like, dude, like, do you want my collector's edition? I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, I'll pay you for it. He's like, no, you can just have it. You can have it. He's like, you like this game too much. I'm like, are you serious? So thank you, Adrian, for the wonderful gift. But this time around, I'm like, I'm not missing it. I'm not missing out. Even though I don't know any of these characters. And if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see I have like the collector's edition highlighted. So it does come with the full game download. Comes with a nice collector's box, a 3-inch doll man figure, some art cards, some in-game content, early access. You get 2 days early, so June 24th instead of June 26th. But the big set piece, kind of like how in the first one, it was the big old BB. The big set piece in this one is a 15-inch Magellan Man statue. No idea who the heck this character is, but let me tell you, it looks absolutely wild, and I'm all about it. I cannot wait. So with that, share my thoughts on the trailer, on the collector's edition. I'm in. I got a pre-order this morning. I'm 100% on board with this, but people are having issues with that digital download. Not getting, because I think the original one came with a steelbook with a physical copy of the game. This one does not. Is that kind of thing, Kajoma, does that kind of thing turn you off with a game, like physical releases in general? And then does that also turn you off with like a collector's edition kind of thing? Like if you were spending $230 on a collector's edition of a game, would you be upset that there isn't a physical copy of the game? Or are you, I guess, on my side where it's like, games are digital now, baby. Like I have a digital only PlayStation. Like why would I want a disc? Like, I don't know. Like, that's where I stand. That's fair. To put it bluntly. But where are you at on this whole thing?
I feel like I'm a big fan of physical media. I think it's cool. It does feel like kind of potentially like weird in like this day and age where most often like physical discs are kind of just like codes in themselves anyways, and not much of the game is actually on the disc.
Right.
And so there's definitely like an argument to be made there. But I do think like, I don't know, steelbooks are cool. Like I remember my dad had a steelbook of Halo 2 and I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever.
That's sick.
But I personally, I have never bought a collector's edition of a game, but if I did buy one, I think I would like if it had a physical copy of the game. I think that would be neat. But like, I guess potentially I'd be okay without it, but I don't know. I think physical copies of games are cool. I do like them. I do. Obviously, most of the games that I have are digital, but like, I think I like physical media. I think it's an important thing to keep around and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the steelbook from the first one. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty sick.
It is nice. Yeah, it is cool art, and obviously has a disc in there. PS4 version of Death Stranding there. But so Carrie says in the chat, when I'm spending the money for collectors, I want a physical copy. I see where you're coming from. I guess what I think is they should just offer two different versions of the collector's edition, like a digital version and a physical. Because here's the deal.
I think that's fair.
And I don't know, because for me, and I guess here's my hope. I don't know if this is a fact. This might be completely made up in my head, but in my head, I'm saying I almost feel like I would hope that the space and the cost that it would, take up, like having a physical version, because physical version, it is technically more expensive to make a physical version than the digital version for them. So sure. my hope and wish is that by not having that in there, not only does it, that some of that money that would be going towards the game could go towards other items in the collector's edition, or physically, okay, it doesn't have to have a disc case in there. Now we can fit something else in there.
Sure.
Which instead of just getting a statue, basically, okay, now we're getting the 3-inch Dollman figure and, as well, maybe that's the cost of that or whatever. Maybe not, that's might not what's actually happening or what happens, but that's how I justify it in my head, at least. But I don't know, I guess, because that's the other thing, because my thought too is okay, I buy a collector's edition, I get the physical version of the game, I can't play it. So then I have to I have to buy a digital version of the game to play it. So then it costs me more money. So it's I would rather just either have two different versions or have the digital version here, because I don't want to have to spend another $80 or $70 or whatever it is to buy the digital version when I have a physical version sitting on a shelf. That would be, this seems wild to me.
That's very fair.
But says the guy who owns Death Stranding probably about 12 different times. I bought it on every platform: PlayStation, PC, iPhone. I've bought the regular versions, the director's cut editions on all those platforms. So I'm still buying it 10 times over.
Yeah,
someone's got to support Kojima over there. He's an indie developer. He needs all the help he can get,
You and Jeff Keighley.
Me and Jeff Keighley. Oh man. But yeah, I see where people are coming from. But so then at the end of the day, I guess I just say my solution is, well, have two versions. Have the digital deluxe collector's edition and the physical collector's edition. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But one thing with this collector's edition too, because I feel in the one for Death Stranding 1, it was it was basically one of the suitcases that you carry. I have it up on the shelf up there, it's a massive suitcase box. It came with that, and inside had BB, it had Ludens, it had actually has a roll of tape in there. It's the tape that's used on the packages in the game. It says void if tampered or whatever, the yellow tape, which I've never used. Actually, I should pull that out. It'd be sick to use on something, put on my iPad or something. Because it make a computer case for it on my laptop. I felt there was more being offered in the Death Stranding 1, where this one is just the statue, the figurine, and some art. And apparently a letter from Hideo Kojima. But then it is a lot of digital items. That's one thing I don't like. So I could care less about the game being digital or physical.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that there's so many in-game items I'm getting, I get a machine gun with MP bullets, level 1, early unlock, golden skeleton boots, patches that I can put on my backpack in the game, stuff like that. It's man, I don't know. If I'm paying for a collector's edition, more knickknacks would be cool, right? When I bought the collector's edition of Omori, it came with that little, I'm pointing at it, it's all blurry because out of focus, but it came with a grand piano music box that plays the theme song. It came with an envelope full of trinkets from the game, all references, probably a dozen things in there. There's a dozen little knickknacks and tchotchkes and stuff, and it was so cool, so cute, so fun to go through there and be oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, I remember this moment. Oh, there's a picture of whatever. It was so cool. Where I do feel, and that was only $100 or less even, where this is 230 and it seems crazy. I'm just getting a statue and a Dollman figure, but I also I'm stoked. I'm stoked to get it, but I feel like there could have been more, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you
I also
bought
feel
any? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was also just going to say, I was like looking at this image and I didn't realize that the patches were like in the in-game items section. I was like, oh, these are kind of cool. I was like, that could have been neat, but that is unfortunate that they're not like physical versions, because I think those that could be cool.
If it was physical patches, that would be sick. I'd be stoked to have, especially these ones. Like, they're awesome. Like the little capybara, happy. This is happy. Like the little cat, like chiral feline, the why me, like all of them. Like, oh, that'd be sick. I'd put that on a backpack or something.
100%.
But yeah, they're just digital in-game patches. It's like, oh, they kind of missed on that one.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, have you ever bought a collector's edition of a game? And if so, which ones? What's one of your favorites that you've gotten?
I have not purchased one. I think the closest that I've gotten is there is like a like video game, like sort of retro video game and like board game store in my town, and they have I'm probably gonna get this at some point potentially if they still have it, but they have a Destiny, like I think Destiny 1 collector's edition.
Whoa.
I think it's like $20-$30, something like that. And obviously it's not something that I'm like actually going to play, and the servers are still online for Destiny and stuff like that. But if there was going to be something that I bought for collector's edition, it would probably be that. But I have not, as far as I remember, I don't think that I bought a collector's edition. Okay. I think I didn't have money for most of the time that I would have wanted one potentially. And then ever since I've had money,
get that.
I don't think anything has come out that I'm like, that's something that I'd like to get.
Yeah.
I think I was like maybe close with like a Destiny 1 at some point, but I did not do it. So
yeah. The only other one I've almost gotten was for God of War Ragnarok, and I had it pre-ordered, and those sold out like immediately. And like a dummy, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh shoot, actually I can't afford this. I'm gonna cancel it. And looking back now, even Adrian was like, what were you thinking? Like, I'm sure there was probably a half dozen people I could have talked to who wanted one, who didn't get one. I could have like just gave it to them, or kept it and then like resold it on eBay, because it's like they sold out so quickly. It was like a 6 statue of like Atreus and what's his name? Why can't I think of his freaking name? Kratos. Yeah. And like, oh man, it was a gorgeous thing. I would have loved to keep it, but yeah, later I'm like, why did I cancel? I'm an idiot. Like, I could have either helped out a buddy or like made some extra cash off it, like made money off of it. But now I know. Don't cancel pre-orders.
Yeah. The only other one that I've like would have been interested in, but it was like before my time to like get, was I've seen like the Halo Reach collector's edition with that like stand with all the like 5 Spartans on it. Oh, okay, and that one's pretty sick. If that one was like available, I would get that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So cool. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.